another episode of the greatest poker time cash game I have ever seen, Grant.
I would love to be in this game.
Yeah.
But
I
due
wish
to
we
conflict
could.
of interest, I cannot be.
We are not allowed to play in this game, but it hurts bad.
The action is insane. Marty has been driving the action even more than Terminator and Action Aaron have in the past.
Hank is playing a huge amount of hands as well. It's been just incredible to watch these guys go at it.
And Marty found a fold. That was weird.
Yeah. BMW Blake not going to find a fold, it looks like, with ace deuce.
Well, at least he's raising it.
So might just get through.
Nope.
Nah.
Hank's in the big blind. What are you talking about?
My mistake.
Did you realize that when you said that?
I clearly didn't.
Okay, good. Hank doesn't let it happen.
Hank with a surprising amount of, it's just a flip, basically, for Hank with the 5-4 off. Not so bad.
One of these guys makes a straight, the other guy might make two pair, you know what I'm saying?
I do. Still possible for those things to happen. Blake comes out firing. That is a good flop for his range.
It is. It's not going to get through Hank, though, because Hank doesn't fold when he makes a pair.
Yeah.
Is he even raising? No, it's just counting out the chips.
There's your pretty reasonable call there for Hank, although it is a bad board.
Does Blake want to test Hank's metal? Well, now he's picked up the ace. He doesn't have to.
Let's see if Blake decides to bet again or not here.
Feels like a check back card. I mean,
with the deuce kicker.
Yeah, Hank traditionally should have king jack in his range, although Hank has a very wide calling range there.
Blake does
bets
decide to bet.
I think that's a bit of an issue. I think Hank will call if he has queen jack or king queen, a hand like that.
Okay, well then that makes it okay.
Maybe even jack 10.
Okay, well if he's calling with 10s and queens, then it's not so bad.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if he is. That's the real question.
The thing is, the real question I have is if Blake were to check it back here, and now he needs a brick to come on the river as well. But if both those things were to happen, would he be able to get a bet out of Hank a fair amount of the time? I don't know. With just a 5, probably not anyway.
I don't think there was any hope of getting called by a 5 anyway.
So in some ways it does it. So he sort of is at least denies equity.
Right.
He has that going for him, but that bet doesn't accomplish too much more. Although again, if it can get called by a queen and some 10s, it's at least okay.
I think with the gut shots, called.
I think you're right. Action Aaron with premium.
And he limps.
Hand.
He limps because he knows Marty's behind him and making it 60.
Marty does not even consider anything but the raise with the 3
and
high.
Terminator has called with an unknown hand. Wonka has a pretty strong hand here, but it's a weird spot already.
I think he's supposed to call.
Oh, Terminator has ace-jack here, we see.
I really think he's supposed to call. Can you really just throw this in? I know it's 6x Wonka, but you can't just fold.
It looks like he's going to call.
I agree.
I imagine Aaron's going to be 3-betting.
I have to believe he's going to put it.
Oh, maybe not, because Digital Dan's going to do the 3-betting, and then Aaron's probably going to fold because it's Dan.
Yeah, I mean, it's not crazy. I mean, Aaron's either going to fold or have to move in, basically, right? And then, I don't know. I don't think we're going to see ace-king versus ace-king all in here. I have a feeling someone's going to end up giving up.
I think Aaron is going to fold. That's my thought.
Digital Dan reaching for the big chips. There's the 3-bet.
250? Is that what it is?
Looks like it.
That's a decent size.
Everyone has a hand. 325,
oh,
325 by the way. That's a huge raise. Oh, Hank does not want to give up these 6s.
You got to fold them, Hank. It's a really bad spot. But he would be correct in this exact scenario to go with it.
He can't call, though. He'd have to move in. Boy, what a spot, too, if he gets called by one of the ace-kings with two of the outs already dead.
I mean, it would be a expected value disaster to move in here.
Of course.
For Hank. A horrible play, but
it's suicidal to actually move in. However,
all right, Hank, good job.
Hank really thought about it. Hank does not like giving up those cards.
No.
Aaron just gets out of the way.
He's probably happy he limped right now. He thinks he just saved himself a bunch of money.
This is probably going to be over, right? No one's going to be able to call this. Dan put in such a big 3-bet. There were so many players, and it's understandable he's going to size it up.
Maybe if he made it 200, Wonka could consider calling because they're both pretty deep.
200 just is not enough.
I agree. I think at this size, which is probably a good size, Wonka's going to have to fold his hand that has decent equity against Dan's hand.
I think 280, 300 is sort of the minimum with this many players in the pot. And Wonka going to have to give it up as well.
And that's how you make a $205 profit.
Yep.
That's why you call him Digital Dan.
That's exactly why.
The number 205 is the amount of profit that he likes. It's also a number that you can digitally type into a calculator.
That is true. Yeah. I can verify that. I've done it.
Wow.
Marty has been passed by Terminator with VPIP. I thought it was going to be Hank who was going to maybe give him a run for his money.
I think Marty left the table for a couple hands last time, and that's why.
Oh, you know what? I think you're right. Also, do you see Action Aaron was really getting up there with the VPIP?
Look at Hank there. 13% pre-flop raise, but his VPIP very high.
Joseph with 4% pre-flop raise.
Well, he's playing counter to the table style.
He is. He also really hasn't had much to play with.
He hasn't had much to play with.
He's waiting for a spot. That's Joseph's whole plan against this lineup.
It's completely reasonable against this lineup to just sit back and let them do all the pushing.
Well, Marty just limped under the gun with 10-4 offsuit.
So that happened.
Yeah.
Terminator, I know you're playing every hand, but even you have to let go of that one. Now, this is a good candidate to just isolate Marty with, I think. You
There
are
are
the
players.
hijack.
There are players behind.
Yeah, that's why you want to isolate.
Yeah, that's 35.
That's
it looks like.
actually sort of a smallish raise. I would have expected it to be a little bigger.
Yeah, I mean Hank on the button is going to call with a ton of hands when he's 35.
And Marty's
as we
calling.
see, he
Marty's
calls with
calling
king seven.
almost any size we make it. Right? I'm
Yeah.
surprised Wonka didn't size it up more there. That's usually his thing.
We got action error now getting in with a suited jack.
Is
and
it possible he thought Marty was in the big blind because he just looked and saw that?
Maybe.
Maybe that's what it was.
that would make more sense. And Hank's range is just insane. So like, king
It's-
7 off, whatever.
It's going to be hard to play against these guys if you don't flop well, though. And that is a great example of not flopping well for Wonka. I don't expect him to continue here.
I
Let's
think
see.
somebody folded deuce 3, by the way. I think it was
I
Joseph.
think you're right. Yeah, see Joseph with the big smile on his face?
Yeah.
Maybe that's because it's a rueful smile, perhaps? No, Terminator. Terminator folded the deuce 3.
Oh, that's what it is.
That's why he looks so intense right now. He's thinking about going back in time and rather than killing, the young savior of humanity, just seeing if he can call.
Right.
Or he
Less
takes the lead.
ambitious Terminator than the younger version, you know?
Yeah, that's what happens. We lose all our gusto and ambition. All right, it's Marty with the lead here as we go to the final card.
Looks like Marty's going to get to win unless somebody makes a big move. Marty's going to bet for value
It's
here.
reasonable.
He can get called by a 5 probably. And a
yeah.
spades did backdoor.
If someone else, not Wonka, but if maybe Action Aaron had a pocket pair, he might, like 2 7s, he might consider calling as well. Hank can't really have that. Hank would have bet, I assume, on the flop. But Action Aaron could have a pocket pair. This is a reasonable bet.
You see Wonka roll his eyes a little bit there as he folded. I think he was realizing his mistake with sizing pre-flop.
Possibly.
Looking at that beautiful Dash Digital Cash logo, it's going to be really beautiful for one of you because we're doing an insane giveaway. We're giving away 4 of those things, 4 Dash Digital Cash.
I mean, I don't even know what's happened to us, but we are apparently just setting money on fire by giving it to somebody else. Just one of you gets to win it. 4 Dash at once. I mean, go buy a house, man. That's crazy.
The contest starts in about a week. We'll have an explainer video about the contest coming out tomorrow to get you all prepped because that's money worth winning.
Yeah,
That's some serious cash.
That is, I think, as we're filming this, that's worth something like $1,800.
I mean,
And
wow.
it's been worth even a lot more, and I don't know, depending on where the markets are, but $1,800 as of today, that's crazy too. I can't believe it.
I can't either. And Action Aaron just folded 2 4s to a Terminator Open.
I don't know
what
what's
just
happening.
happened.
Nothing makes sense anymore. Terminator with 4.1K in front of him too. Does Action Aaron not have a stack? I
No,
think
he's
he does.
got
like
a decent
1.3,
stack.
right?
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Yep. That was a mistake. Maybe he misread his
And
hand.
look at that. That he's immediately punished for his mistake.
Well, and he would have gotten at least one bet at a Terminator because Terminator flopped a pair. Marty looks like he is not folding.
Wow.
Marty doesn't fold.
Well, Marty's ahead.
Marty
Oh,
is
no,
losing.
he's not. He's not. He was ahead
Yes, he was ahead for a moment.
until the 5 came.
These are our VPIP champions right now,
Another 10. That's going to make it harder for Marty to win the hand.
and a little harder for Action Aaron to feel good about life as he would beat all draws that might have come in.
Well, if another 10 comes, then he would have lost to Terminator. So think about that for a
That
second.
is something to think about. Also a 5.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're never going to know because Marty...
What?
No, that's faking it, right? Surely that's faking it.
He's got the button.
He has moved in.
Josh gave him the button. That means he had verbalized all
I
in
just
there.
didn't believe it.
This is
what a play.
I mean, wow. He has more.
Whoa, and
Oh, and he shows
he
the
shows
9.
the 9. That is brilliant.
That's a great show.
That is an incredible show. Oh, I admire this show. How can you call?
You can't.
When he shows a 9 and he moves in?
How can you call with anything but a 10 or better here?
I mean, you figure he's got 2 9s or he's got 9-10, right? How could he move in with anything else?
I don't
show
think
the
he-
9 of clubs.
I don't think he would move in with 2 9s. Maybe Marty would. I don't know.
Marty might.
Well, that's a problem.
I would
because-
assume he has 9-10.
That's a problem because Terminator does have overpairs in his range. Now, it is Terminator. I would be afraid with an overpair that he had 9-10 for sure when
I
he
think
shows the 9.
you'd feel obligated to call because it's only 340 more with 1,000 in the pot. But I don't see how Terminator can call with a 5. How can you call with a 5?
And Marty has just put his head down and is not letting Terminator get any glimpse into his humanity.
So
right
Action
now.
Aaron's got to be freaking out. He'd have a full
yeah.
house. Now, this wouldn't have happened if Action Aaron had called, I think,
No,
on the flop
absolutely
return.
0% chance.
Marty-
Although
Marty probably
he
would've gotten away from it.
Action Aaron probably believes that Marty has 9-10 and thinks he would have
Oh,
gotten paid.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's why he's freaking out.
Yeah, and Terminator folds, and I think he's right to fold.
Well, let's see if Marty shows or not. He shows.
Yeah. No, he did. He did show.
Wow.
That is an audacious move.
Wow. I can't. Well, this game's so off the hook. I'm so happy right now.
That was off the hook.
That was legit not on the hook.
There is no hook even in the room.
That's by definition, it's off the hook. Wow.
We hate hooks in this game.
Yeah, we're
We don't
anti-hook.
watch any Peter Pan related movies just because
Yeah.
Captain Hook might show up.
I mean, usually he's going to.
Yeah, he's kind of a jerk like that.
Wow. Terminator with the blind raise, and got
I
to be
am-
steaming a little bit after seeing that.
Yeah,
He was getting a pretty good price, but
I understand the
I understand
fold.
why he folded. I don't see how he can.
That was a crazy play by Marty.
He didn't have to bet the turn.
No,
But
he really
betting
didn't.
the turn put him in a lot of trouble.
That was just insanity.
Yep.
And finally, Joseph has a hand he feels comfortable raising here. He makes it 100 over the blind raise and call. I like that sizing.
Marty with the suited ace. Is he feeling emboldened? He is not. Huh.
Well, it is Joseph. He's paying attention to who's playing, I guess, because Joseph is clearly the tightest player
I mean,
at the table
Marty
right now.
played every hand for the first 33 minutes of this session in episode 1. So,
But Joseph never made it 100.
yeah, I think it's the making it 100 that probably is knocking him out. That's fair.
Blake's going to get involved with the Queen 10 of diamonds here.
It's optimistic.
And
but
Hank also with an optimistic involvement.
That makes Blake's call a little bit better for sure.
It does. It's going to be tough to hit diamonds. The
Yeah.
big diamonds are covered.
If we somehow get 4 diamonds, there could be a lot of money lost.
Well, that is an
Wow.
insane flop for Blake
Wow.
and Joseph here. Joseph with top pair, second kicker, and the backdoor king high flush draw. Blake with top pair and the flush draw. Hank betting with ace 8 here in his
Wow.
middle pair and the backdoor nut flush draw.
Joseph has to decide call or raise. I think this is a pretty straightforward call.
I agree. I think we're almost always ahead of Hank here, and we want to let him keep betting
Hank-
and not scare him away.
Hank with only 785 left also, and Blake is just
All right,
loving
so what's
this.
Blake's
I
decision
think it's
tree
raise
here?
time.
I think we can raise, although are we folding out all hands that are currently worse than ours when we raise?
We might be, but we're folding out some better hands. Like Joseph, I think, is going to really struggle to call this.
And he does raise. I mean, it can't be bad to get it in with his
Yeah.
hand anyway. It's fine. Although a pair and a flush draw, especially top
Yeah,
pair, is a
it's
candidate
okay
to
to
just
call.
because you have showdown value.
I agree. It's really okay not to raise here too, but being out of position, it's a way to try and make sure you get some value here. So Hank,
Hank's
can
got to
Hank
give
really
this up.
continue here?
He's got to give this one up.
It'd be impossible to continue, right?
It's definitely allowed. He's
Hank?
allowed to do it.
Hank,
Hank hates folding so much.
Hank, you can't.
Hank-
Joseph called behind you, Hank. I know you have the ace of diamonds.
Hank hates folding more than Aaron hates shirts without patterns on them.
Wow, Hank is really giving this one a think about, but there he goes.
Yeah, you got to let that. Now, Joseph's got a weird decision here. Now, it looks kind of set-like or combo draw-like.
Yep. Agreed. Or I guess Blake, it's hard for Blake to have queen 8 or something like that. It's really just pocket 8s and pocket 4s that are a problem because Joseph made it 100 pre.
Yep. And we blocked the diamonds in case he has diamonds, so it's less likely for him to get there.
You think it'd be really unlikely for Blake to raise ace queen here. I guess it's possible, but he could even have ace queen of diamonds, but
Joseph looks kind of foldy, though.
he does. He looks like he's going to throw it away. He actually does have the most equity.
Kings or eights?
Did you say kings or aces? It's neither. He has queen 10.
I don't think he said aces.
Okay. Eights. He probably said eights.
Eights, yeah.
You know what?
I know usually when someone gives this whole talk and stuff like that, they fold.
Yep.
They rarely will put someone on a hand and then call anyway.
He named 2 hands that are beating him.
He said kings or eights, right?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah. It's unlikely Blake's going to show up with kings very often. Eights is at least possible. Not a huge amount of combos, but Joseph knows if Blake has eights, he's drawn super thin.
Yeah. I know you've knocked me out. Right.
Blake does some weird raising, though, sometimes. Blake
He
raises
does.
a fair amount on the flop.
You could raise with middle pair here.
I guess Joseph's trying to decide, basically, is he going to go with this hand or not? Because if he may decide, because it's often a combo draw he's up against, he may decide to I think actually a call is better than a shove here.
If I fold a shove,
Wait, hold on. Before I ask that, can you beat me at this?
one of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you can probably beat 6 of them.
So you'll show if I show?
Then I for sure want to call.
That's a fold.
Yep.
And Blake shows him the bad news.
Yep.
Yeah, Blake.
So that ended up being a fantastic raise for Blake, considering he had
But I mean,
only about 40% equity.
Yeah.
He gets to win the pot against a better hand.
oh, well, you don't want to call. You might want to jam.
I don't want to jam. I want to call.
Not that I don't know if Blake was actually targeting. There's not too many hands he's going to get Joseph to fold that are better than his, but that
He
is
found
one of
one
them.
of them. Queen
Like,
Jack and King Queen.
Maybe
are-
Ace Queen.
Maybe Ace Queen sometimes.
I mean, an overpair doesn't play that differently
No.
than King Queen, but Joseph may feel a little more attached to an overpair.
Yeah.
Get there.
Because also then you can put Blake on some more queens. Joseph does block queens.
Yeah, and it's higher in his distribution. There's all these
Yeah,
things.
that's right.
That was interesting.
I mean, Blake will raise when he has it too, but he is a bit more raisy than some people
I mean, I
are
think
on
in
the
his
flop.
mind he had it there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Hank's going to call here with the King 7 off.
He has an affinity for that hand because it is a hand.
Harder, you would have included the Jack of Diamonds.
See if BMW Blake decide after fresh off winning that pot if he decides to just complete or bump it up here. I think this is a bump up with Hank in the pot to isolate. And looks like Blake is on the same page as myself.
These guys all have pretty nicely organized stacks. I admire the stack organization. Aaron's a little sloppy over there, although we have seen him do some pretty good stack
Aaron
organization
is
in
the
the past.
Picasso of chip stacks at this table, man.
Yep.
Give that guy a chance.
Terminator set mining with the 5s here. Well, nobody likes that flop.
Blake does not continue. Let's see what Hank does. Hank just checks it back.
Hank
to-
doesn't seem to bluff too often. He just kind of sees flops and tries to hit them.
This is almost certainly going to work.
Yep, I think it already did.
Yep. Wait, yeah. And that is that. Blake shows what isn't the best hand, but was second best. That's good. Silver medal. I guess you won the pot, so
Yeah,
that's even better than
that
having
makes it the best hand. The last hand standing. It's like that show, Last Hand Standing.
with Tim Allen and the guy from Friends,
Yeah, sure.
Matt
LeBlanc.
LeBlanc.
No, say it properly.
LeBlanc.
That's
He, of course, is in Man with a Plan, not Last Man Standing. But it's an understandable thing that people might get confused. And it's
I think
possible
you need to get your man name sitcoms a little bit more correct.
It's
here.
hard to argue. I will say that may be a bit of a mistake that is going to happen in a breakdown that comes up very soon.
Hank raising it up pretty big with the 2 4s here, $45. Joseph is going to enter the pot, which means he's probably got a pretty good hand. And Aaron with queens, wow. He's definitely going to get action from Hank here, knowing how Hank has been playing.
Agreed.
Makes it 145.
Joseph is going to have a lot of like Jack 10 suited and stuff like that.
Yeah, hands like that. He could have like ace. He could have a similar hand to Terminator here, who
He
has
could.
ace jack suited and decides to cold call.
And maybe pocket eights too. Oh, Terminator just cold calling there. No fear. Obviously, Hank's not going anywhere. And Joseph's
Joseph's going to have to call with pretty much everything he has.
There
Oh,
you go.
ace 3 suited. Maybe he could fold ace 3 suited.
yeah,
It's a pretty bad reverse implied odds scenario, although he's probably not going to lose too much money if just an ace flops.
right. If that's true, then it's not. There's no Rio really happening. Rio, of course, being reverse implied odds.
Nice, dude. Is that what the Rio is named after in Vegas?
Yeah. What did you think it was named after?
The city. Okay, so
What
we have
city.
the city named Rio. We have a gut shot for Joseph. Nobody else really flops anything, and Aaron is in a pretty safe spot here. Of course, you're always worried about sets when you have queens in a spot like this, but not yet.
I mean, it'd be absurd not to bet four-handed on a
I agree.
not very wet board, but a little bit wet.
Terminator's got to give this up. I could see Terminator sometimes floating if the 10 was a club. He likes to do stuff like that,
Yeah.
but
Also-
not this time.
Action bets 315. I mean, I think.
Whoa,
it's a-
Hank is
no.
not folding. What's going on here?
What? I don't understand.
Counting out his stack, he's got 600. You got 600 in your stack,
Hank
Hank.
just takes some time though before he folds.
Yeah,
Like,
usually.
doesn't mean Hank is not folding. He just hasn't folded. Remember last time
I remember last
the
time.
Marty hand when Marty had the moved.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
No, Hank, what are you doing?
Aaron
Joseph
looks
is
over
obviously
at
going
him.
to fold, and Aaron's going to have to call this,
Oh, yeah.
obviously.
Aaron
he
doesn't like
does.
calling, but he calls.
He's in great shape. This is, I think you should just fold the 2 4s there. Like, that's probably the
He
move.
was just hoping, I guess, that Action Aaron had a big ace and he was going to pick up the pot. That could have worked.
Yeah, I
just
guess.
didn't. Well, he's down to 2
safeguard.
outs here, and maybe some reloading is going to be having to happen in the second.
That is
Wow.
crazy unlucky. Action Aaron continues to get unlucky in this
Look
game.
at that. Look at his face. He knows it.
Every time he plays, he gets so unlucky. Look at this.
He absolutely runs the worst of anyone on this show by a significant amount. He's the Daniel Negreanu from High Stakes Poker of
Yes,
this show.
absolutely. I mean, Hank is not supposed to get it in there. And then when he does, Aaron has so much equity, and he loses anyway.
The amount of times he's got it in with like pair over pair, like over pair versus over pair
Yeah.
or something like that, or this case, and then the 2-outer comes in, it seems sort of ridiculous.
I mean, that said, he's taking it quite well for a guy who continues to run so bad.
Absolutely. Look at him. There he is. Okay.
I mean, Hank
fine.
is very ambitious to think that Aaron just is going to keep betting into 4 players with ace, king, or ace, queen there.
I mean, Action Aaron might. He might.
Maybe. I don't know.
Might.
I see him check back a lot in scenarios like that, you know?
I'm not saying he would, but it's possible. Sometimes he's not going to have
That
it.
was brutality.
Wow.
That was just
wow.
brutality. And it's life is unfair. If you want evidence of life being unfair, watch
Yeah.
that hand again.
I feel like Digital Dan has run pretty darn well in terms of how overall in this game, not this game, but the overall poker times, in terms of how he's run. Like he's slammed so many flops. In Action Aaron has run the worst.
Yeah, that's probably.
That's my
right.
non-statistical analysis of people's luck.
And Hank's going to try to spin it up a little bit more with the 6-3 suited here.
Action Aaron maybe feeling a little snake bit, just calling with the King Jack.
Marty's going to raise it up. I don't think Aaron will be folding. I don't think Hank will either, knowing Hank.
Yeah, I think you are 100% right. Hank just also got all these chips. It's better to call now than it would have been
Yeah, he's
earlier.
got
Just
way
doubled
better,
up.
way better implied odds. Although Aaron and Marty both don't have very big stacks in
That
front
is
of
a
them.
great point. Effective stack is about 1K for Hank when he's looking at Marty anyway.
And we have an action flop.
Whoa.
This is a serious action flop.
Action Aaron with only $500 in front of him.
He's probably going to have to get it in.
He might be able to get it in right now. And Hank is just going to bet. Well, I don't know if Hank's going to even... It may be all in by the time it comes back to him.
Check out Hank's equity.
Yeah, but if he can get Marty to fold...
Yeah, if Marty folds, I mean...
Marty might fold. If Aaron
Aaron
raises...
just calls here.
Oh,
so
interesting.
I think Marty might raise.
I mean, Marty raised the... what did he have? Queen
Queen
9, so...
Oh, did Marty just announce all in? I think he did.
I think he does
Yeah.
move in. Hank, Hank, you can't call this one, buddy. I know you don't want to fold, but...
Yeah, this would be
Can't call with 6 high.
a very ambitious call.
He's got Aaron behind him. Aaron, with the amount of money he's got and stuff like that, I don't see how Aaron's going to be able to fold.
Aaron's got the king of clubs in his hand as well, so
yeah.
he's going to feel a little bit better because of that. I mean, I know that means that we remove all of the pair and flush draw combos, but that's okay.
By the way, Marty, it's a huge shove if Hank doesn't fold. Like,
I think Aaron's going to, he's just going to put it in, and all right, he's got 66% equity this time.
all right,
let's see if he can do it. 66 to 34% equity.
For the camera, so you want to bring the cards in. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to line up the cards as they do. Careful about covering the sponsor's logo there. There you go.
This
That's a
pot,
little
by the
better.
way, is smaller than the amount of dash we're giving away.
Yeah, by a significant amount. That's a
All
great
right.
card for Action Aaron. Although
Well,
with 10,
no, it's
10
actually a
is
bad card.
actually, nah, I take it back. Ooh, it's black, but it's safe.
Ooh,
Action
somehow.
Aaron gets the double.
So good.
He's happy.
He's
Finally.
actually profitable over the last 2 hands because he lost less than he won.
We're going to get right back to that sweet, sweet poker time
man.
action.
So good.
Oh, man, I'm enjoying it. But before we do, we got to talk a little bit about the sponsor, Dash Digital Cash.
What is Dash Digital Cash, you may be asking? Well, that's what we're here to tell you, actually.
Yeah,
That's the whole point of this.
Yeah, that's the reason this is being
That's
talked
what
about.
this is
And
about.
that's what's on the felt. It's a cryptocurrency, and it's an awesome cryptocurrency. If you want to learn more, you got to check out the video we made. It's a pretty good video, I got to say.
I know it is.
But basically, the cliff notes are, it is extremely fast and extremely cheap to send. I'm talking 1 to 4 seconds. I'm talking a penny. Anywhere in the world, any amount of Dash. It's a revolution, really.
It's incredible. It has other pretty great traits as well. It's got things like private send, which allows you to send anywhere anonymously with like true cryptography behind it, which is pretty awesome. It has instant send, which not only sends things super fast, but makes it spendable instantly, which is perfect for merchant adoption like Target, Starbucks, Walmart, Amazon, things like that.
Name more brands.
I could, if I really wanted to, Whole Foods, that's Amazon.
There you go, you did it. Anyway, let's get back to poker time. Enjoy the action.
Well, Aaron actually gets to win hands sometimes. And look at that. He's got chips. Feeling good.
It's just fascinating how the money has moved around at this table, but I don't know if there's any big winners. I've seen so many big pots, but so far anyway, the chips have not stayed in any one home.
Looks like we have Hank under the gun, but that's not true. We're going to rejigger things here a little bit. Joseph and Aaron have already folded here.
I always have an extra.
Players had gone on a break, and you can see that it messed everything up.
Of course, Marty looks like he's limping the 5 deuce. Just classic Marty. Blake is raising a 65, which can't be bad when Marty limps.
Blake usually has a real hand when he's doing this. And
He has a very real hand. I wonder what Terminator has, because he might be in some trouble here.
See Wonka folded the ace-deuce suited.
Hank going to call the ace-7 off because, yeah.
Hank's got, 2 outs right now to hit an ace.
Yep.
And
Unless
Terminator has-
unless
who knows?
Terminator has an ace.
Okay, that's true. But since we don't know, they count.
Sure do. But Terminator did decide to call, so his range is a little ace-heavy there.
Yeah.
Bad flop for
Wow.
Blake. Incredibly good flop for Hank. He is rewarded.
Let's see if Blake decides to continue.
He is going to
People
continue.
like to continue at this table.
I would
Notice
probably check, I think, but it's an interesting spot.
that. Against this competition, I think betting is not bad.
I agree.
You're going to get called by some worse hands.
Hank has a lot of hands here, and Terminator obviously we know has a wide range as well.
There's no way Hank is folding a 7.
And Hank just calls there, by the way.
Wow, that's surprising.
That's an interesting play.
The problem, of course, Hank being out of position, it's often going to check through on the turn when you've got the board this
Unless he
crushed.
decides to bet the turn.
Yeah. Now, if Terminator has ace-jack, I'm just saying, we'll see another big pot.
Looks like Hank has already checked. Blake checks.
Checks right through, and Hank knows he has the best hand now.
I mean, Blake got
already knew
called
that.
in 2 spots. It's shutdown time. The 10 is a slightly scary card for Hank, but betting
It's
for
fine
value
to
makes
bet.
plenty of sense here.
Terminator can absolutely have an ace. He can have like ace-9 and just call very easily.
Didn't really see how much Hank bet there. 4-10, pretty big bet, and it just goes quickly fold.
What could Terminator have had? Could Terminator have had the straight draw? I guess he can have like the 8-6 or
Yeah,
something.
8-6 suited maybe.
Maybe 4-3 for the double gutter.
He could even have like ace-8 suited there and decide to just snap fold the river to that bet into 2 players.
When Hank bets
Yeah.
so big. Yeah.
Because Hank plays a lot of hands, but we haven't seen him make any big moves.
Agreed.
I mean, the 4s was kind of a big move, but I think that wasn't exactly the same type of thing as like a bluff. He just kind of thought, I don't have enough left, and 4s are good enough for me here.
You just don't know because Terminator didn't show us his cards that time on the RFID reader.
Well,
That's on him. That's on him.
I think it's possible that his metallic parts are causing problems for the RFID reader.
By the way, no one's even brought up the fact that maybe the Terminator is like clued into the RFID reader and knows what everyone has at all
Oh,
times.
man, that's messed up.
What if he had ace-queen there and folded?
That would be really impressive. All right. Blake
Probably not what happened.
Blake with another big hand here. And Terminator's circuits are definitely ruining the RFID reader. I see his cards are squarely on there.
Well, we can't blame him then. This time.
Wonka
Wonka's
with,
looking around. Usually he's got something.
He's got some sort of decision here, obviously.
That look around is almost always he says raise afterward.
Yeah. Oh, well, he just did a lookup. He's just trying to think of a number, maybe. Terminator has called, doesn't say so yet.
There it is.
Oh, ace-3 suited.
And
He's bluff raising. We haven't seen Wonka do this for a while.
no, it's true. But there it was. He was indeed. Did have the look of the 3-bet.
He's not going to get through Blake here, though.
I wouldn't expect him to.
And once Blake calls, I imagine Terminator is going to have a lot of calls.
Yeah. This is one of those just spots with 10s that kind of blows where you're usually behind, but you feel like you kind of have to call. Your hand's too good, but you're mostly set mining, and you're out of position.
I mean, it's okay to set mine. You're getting the right price to set mine.
You just miss so much. And then you have to get paid a lot, otherwise it's not really worth
I mean, if
set
you flop
mining
like
anyway.
a gut shot or better, you can also continue in those spots.
I guess.
Not like an ace-king-queen gut shot, but
Like, you can't really continue on this board. Like, you can't beat almost anything.
this is a great board for Wonka to continue on.
Yeah.
It's good for his range, and he has a gut shot that will be very hidden if he gets there.
Yep. If only there was a heart on the board, he'd really love it.
Yeah.
And
Oh, it looks like
Terminator's gonna
Terminator
bet.
is going to go ahead and lead out.
Terminator can have a king here for sure.
He can have a king. He can have a set.
Would Terminator bet a king or a set, though?
What else what do you think he just has a
Diamonds.
bluff? I guess he could have
Diamonds.
diamonds, queen jack of diamonds or
I
something
think
like
he's
that.
not betting a king or a set very often after Wonka 3-bet. I guess you could be deciding to bet a set, but It's the kind of thing now queens might fold.
If you don't believe that Terminator can have a set, you can raise here as Wonka, although your story becomes fishy if you raise. You're basically saying I have a set of kings.
Wonka can just call and be repping ace-king pretty comfortably, and with a few outs, but it's reasonable to fold.
It is a big bet to call just to hope to rep something later against a guy who it's hard to push off of a hand.
And Wonka only has 1.9 behind, so this is actually more than 10% of his remaining stack.
He's definitely considering it, though. He's not Hollywooding.
Oh, yeah. No, he doesn't do much Hollywooding at all, this guy. And it looks like he's...
I would have liked to see a move made there because it would have been fun for us. I don't know if it would have been profitable. It just would have been fun for us.
Mostly works. It's possible if there's even one heart on that board, he's going to not fold and probably raise. But Blake now with an interesting spot where it looks like he's calling. It's really hard for Terminator to have tens beat. Just isn't going to donk that often with a monster.
But his equity is not great against most of Terminator's range, even so.
That's true.
And Terminator could have a king here. He plays weird sometimes.
He does. That 5 would have made Wonka the second nuts.
Wonka is so upset right now.
It's a pretty good card for Blake. That card is rarely going to help Terminator.
Terminator sometimes picked up a pair with 3-5 here.
You got to love it when he checks back. You almost always have him now.
I feel like Terminator has a king.
And a 5 of diamonds comes in. This is the kind of board, and Terminator checks right away. We're just never going to know what he had.
He doesn't have a king. I guess I was wrong there.
It wasn't diamonds, it wasn't a king, and it wasn't a straight draw.
It was just a bluff.
It was just a straight up nothing. Maybe he had 2 9s? He could have 2 9s, I guess.
Could he bet a 4? Would he bet a 4? Like ace 4?
I don't know. I mean, Wonka had 3-bet. Why would he do it with any of those things? It seems so unlikely.
I just don't know what
I don't
else he
feel
had.
like he normally does that.
But he didn't have a straight draw. He didn't have a flush draw.
I think
he didn't have
bluffing.
a king.
I think he was bluffing.
He just had like 9-10 of spades.
And just decided to give up.
Yeah, I guess maybe that could be the case.
It would have worked. If he had bet that river, I don't see how Blake can call.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you
Although
there.
Blake does like to call. Blake, not a big fan of the folding either, at least on the river.
I think I'm just going to be eternally curious what Terminator had there.
Yeah, that's a strange one. Maybe it was just a no equity bluff.
Yep.
And then he gave up on it. Like, that 5 of diamonds was a pretty good card to bluff on the river, though. Pretty good spot. Try and take when Blake checks again and the diamond comes, right?
Yeah.
Not crazy to make a big bet there.
Looks like Hank's raising the button. He's got the 5 deuce suited. I like it better than limping it.
Yeah.
Getting called by 2 pretty bad hands.
Both with more equity, but what are you going to do? This is a Hank kind of a spot right here, except actually Aaron has.
Aaron will not be folding for 1 bet, that's
no
for
way.
sure.
And Hank, that means Hank's going to have to bet several times. Hank does not continue.
He just doesn't bluff, this guy,
It's a good
really.
board to continue on, but maybe he thinks there's too many players, but he's up against the blinds.
And Aaron just made a full house with his queen deuce here.
I like this check by Aaron. It's hard to get value from anything. And is Hank going to... Looks like we're waiting to see what's going on.
Oh, we checked around again. I don't think there's any way to get Aaron off this hand at this point.
No. The question is Aaron going to bet for value? He is. I don't see how anyone can call, of course. So Hank just insta-folds.
And Joseph has 10 high. He could consider the 10 high hero call.
He could. There's not a lot of money in that pot.
There's not. It's a card that plays, though. You know?
It does play.
There's a 6 on the river. You can't see it yet. But
So, I mean,
Aaron just gets to win with the full
So if
house.
Joseph had like 7-4 suited, he should probably call because the hand plays.
Yeah, absolutely.
The card plays.
Aaron's only betting full houses and 5 highs. You're right. That's the way of the
Looks
world.
like it was a 7 of spades on the river, so you have to go 8 or better.
Yeah,
8 or
sorry.
better to
My
call.
bad.
Terrible fold by Joseph.
Even though the results obviously show that it would have been wrong to call. The more 10 high calls you can make, the more profitable you'll be. That's the poker guy's way.
I mean, it's pretty cool to make a 10 high call. Even when you're wrong, it's pretty cool.
I once made a 10 high call on a guy, and he mucked his hand. I was putting him on exactly 4-5 based on the action of the hand. And he later told me he had queen high.
Oh, what a deal.
Yeah.
What a deal. No, whenever you make a call with even ace high, you're just happy to see the hand go in the muck, not just because you won, because just in case it's a chop or something, but they think you couldn't have called because it's,
Yeah.
it's always nice.
Marty's going to defend the 8-5 off here. 40, big raise too. But
Yep.
it is Marty. He doesn't have much of a stack to be defending either. He only has
That's
425.
really good point. And no one flops anything. Marty?
Those guys over there flopped as much as these guys over here. Am I right?
Hey. Good joke.
Thanks.
Goes check, check. Continues to be a whole lot of nothing for anyone. Marty not taking a shot at it here.
Maybe because the stack is so short.
Maybe.
You expect Marty to take shots, though.
Well, this is not a bad time.
I'm
he doesn't
just
even
going
try.
to check through, and Blake's going to get the win with the ace-7 high. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's a nice deal.
Marty must be a little bit cowed by his stack shrinkage.
Down to 425. And you're saying that about his stack shrinkage, but I'm just going to say, the water was very cold.
Great Seinfeld joke.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are we allowed to say Seinfeld? Probably.
We are.
Okay, good.
So it's someone's name. You can say it.
Okay, cool.
You're also allowed to say anything pretty much that's, there's no copyright on people's names except certain phrases.
Yeah, we had to, if any of you are podcast listeners, we had to cut out some parts of a thing we did because we said a thing.
We said a thing that people say in boxing
Yeah.
arenas before a boxing thing starts, and then we realized we
Very,
we
very
lose a lot of money.
strong copyright protection on that.
So
thing.
we had to cut it out. Very sad. But we can say Seinfeld all we want.
So if we say that anytime any cool play happens, we're like Seinfeld.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. That's a new thing for us.
And obviously, if we want to go with canon Seinfeld, anytime anybody makes a big mistake, we say Costanza. Clearly, you don't think so?
It's too on the button for me.
On the button,
Too on the nose.
the button nose.
Digital Dan hasn't played a hand in forever.
He hasn't had much. He's just going to limp the ace-8 suited here. Hank, of course, is going to play the queen-6
It's
suited.
been like carnage all around Digital Dan, but
Yeah.
he just, just walking around, just looking around. Everything's fine. Is that Marty going to raise it up with the jack-8 off?
He's really trying to get some more chips in there all the
He's
time.
got 380 behind. He makes it 45 with jack-8 off when he could have just completed from the small
Yeah.
blind. He does now have, the initiative.
I don't know if we can call Action Aaron anymore
Yeah.
when Marty's at the table. It
I
seems
agree.
a bit unfair. Marty is the action.
Well, maybe Action Aaron is named that for other reasons. Like he
Yeah.
loves action moves. Whoa!
Well, this is a problem for Marty.
Digital Dan probably not going to be folding on this flop, no matter what Marty does.
Is he just going to move in?
It
looks like he's
a
just
bit of an
moving
overbet to me.
more than twice the pot.
Why? Why not bet for value? Anyway, Digital
Dan's going
Dan.
to call.
Dan may not love it, but he's going to call. I mean, this is what people do when they have overpairs, but Dan's hand's too good, Marty's too crazy, and it's not that expensive. Dan calls, Hank's out of there.
And,
Marty's in trouble.
It's going to be tough for Marty to win this one.
Well, he's got the 3 outs, unless a heart comes on the turn.
Yep.
Although a Jack of Diamonds has been folded, so he actually only has 2 outs. Well, that gives him no extra outs at all.
It does nothing for him.
And that will be that. Digital Dan gets the rest of those chips.
And Marty will be going to the cage for a reload here.
Digital Dan's like, it's so easy. You just limp, flop top pair.
The guy bets more than twice the pot, and I have the best hand. I have
call.
him drawing so close to dead that he's almost actually dead.
Yeah. Guy's having problems breathing right now because of what I did to him. Digital Dan likes to talk a lot of trash.
Yeah, he does. That's why they call him Digital Dan.
Yeah. He's a grade A trash talker.
Right, and the reason for that, and the reason that's associated with calling him Digital Dan is because the little trash can that's on your computer where you put your files?
Of course.
He was the designer of the art for the trash can.
Yeah, just the art, to be clear, not the actual
Also
software.
the noise it makes when you empty it.
Sure,
Like,
sure. That's part of the art as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
But
true. It's a holistic experience.
Yeah.
All right, Wonka now has the Digital Dan hand, the ace-8 suited.
Marty is not at the table, so there's one less player. It's 7-handed. He's under the gun.
Also, Marty's not at the table. Which is
but I think Wonka would want Marty at the table.
Yeah, that's probably true, but he gets it through more often is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I guess, never mind.
Right.
Hank's there. I forgot about Hank for a second. Hank in his infinite range.
When Action Aaron has something.
How is he going to get unlucky this time? I guess he did
Joseph
get to win
can
with
flop a
the
4.
Yeah, he can.
Wonka can flop a flush, although let's see how big he makes it here. See if anyone decides to come along, because we got to believe the 3-bet is incoming, like the planes in Dunkirk.
Sure. Looks like a chunky 3-bet there.
Hard to know.
Hard to know. He
Well,
did it
outside
off
the-
camera.
160. That's a pretty reasonable 3-bet
Yeah.
size actually for people to consider calling. Wonka can't.
This will probably just get through to Joseph, and then Joseph will have a decision.
Joseph has a call. It's a call.
He does have a call with their stacks.
Exactly. 1.6K effective. There's absolutely and 295 already in the pot. This is a clear call. Even if you're just set mining and nothing else, it's a clear call.
It was 2 red 4s that Hank had when Aaron got super unlucky. I wonder if we'll see it happen again. Joseph has the foldy face again, though.
He's talking to him. A lot of the time when people talk to him, they fold. Yep, looks like it. He's just not going to get involved. He's out of position.
It does suck to be purely set mining in a spot where your opponent's range is super strong, knowing that you have to hit your set to continue, and being like, well, I'm just saying goodbye to this bet. At the same time, I mean, at the same time, you're supposed to call anyway.
It's not just that. You're not purely set mining.
Well,
if
you
you're
can
Joseph.
hit an open ender or something.
You could also have the best hand. Like,
You
it's
could.
Action Aaron who raised over limpers. Oh, no, he's 3-betting.
Yeah.
He's got a tighter range.
I was
He
never
still has a wider range than most, though. for
Wonka
3-betting.
opened under the gun. Aaron
Yeah.
is well aware of Wonka's reputation.
All right. It's a stronger range than normal. You're right.
If you guys could have seen Jonathan's petulant face when he was trying to make his point against me, you would be mad at him too. But I can be mad at him just for everybody.
You're mad a lot, though.
That's not true.
So mad.
All right, Hank's definitely playing this one.
Hank, careful. Those are $100 chips. You don't need those yet.
I don't know. Hank might have this in his never folding range, so maybe you should just put 400 in.
Why don't you just move in then?
Yeah.
65.
65. That's a
still
big raise.
very sizable. More than one might expect. Aaron, when he does that, I was going to
Oh,
say never folds, but then he folded.
Wow, he owned you.
Marty decides not to play with the 7-deuce off this time.
Blake's chip towers are aesthetically pleasing. I like how he stacks his
Yeah,
chips.
me too. I never go that high. I'm always afraid of knocking them over.
Well, that's always a risk, you know? But for the art, sometimes you take a risk.
Yeah, you got to do it for the love
Like
of the
Van
game.
Gogh, you know?
Yeah, look at that guy.
Do you think he cut off his ear because of not art? Think about that for a
It's
second.
hard to think about that. It's actually a challenging thing to even try and think about. I know that he never sold a painting his entire life. Not a single painting, that guy.
Oh, was he
How brutal is
like
that?
basically destitute? I didn't know
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I got to read more Van Gogh biographies. What's wrong with me?
He didn't sell a single painting, and he left. I think it was in his will for all of his paintings to be burned because he assumed no one would want them, and he was so upset about it. And I guess his brother refused to burn them, and here we are. That's
So we're
kind of a heartbreaking story that Van Gogh doesn't know that even now, all these years later, we all know who he is. That's
Whoa.
insane.
hold on a second.
Yeah.
Joseph limp 2 jacks. Marty decides not to raise the 9-7 suited. That's kind of unlucky for Joseph, considering how Marty has been playing.
Terminator has 2 cards of some sort or another.
Wonka with the 10-4 off is going to complete the small blind, and Digital Dan with the King 9. So now Joseph's got to fade a lot of stuff, and he doesn't know what it is.
But he only did put $10 in, and boy, is his hand disguised.
I think he was expecting Marty or Aaron to raise a lot of the time,
Yeah.
or Terminator,
Joseph no longer with the best hand. It's all Digital Dan here. Digital
unless
Dan
Terminator has it.
decides to check.
That's fine. Joseph's going to bet.
That's the only. It's fine, but Joseph may think he has the bet. You know, he may put in the bet now. If Digital Dan bet, I think Joseph would have just folded.
Terminator might have a king as well. He's
Oh, yeah.
calling. He could also have an open ender or even a gut shot knowing Terminator.
There's no way Digital Dan's folding,
No, he can't fold here.
especially for $40. I mean, come on, that's like for Digital Dan, that's nothing.
I mean, look at those glasses. You think those things were free?
That T-shirt. That T-shirt's like. Oh
Oh!
my goodness, we're wrong again.
He most likely folded the best hand there.
He just thinks Joseph is a tight player who bet into all these players, I guess.
I think he's putting Joseph on set of 4s or set of 6s, having limped pre-flop.
Maybe.
Well,
Joseph's
that
going to
card-
check, and it's going to hurt Digital Dan like inside.
That card, the 7 there on the turn, it usually hits Terminator in one way or another unless Terminator had a king.
And it goes check here, and Digital Dan now knows he folded the best hand. Well,
Well, now
at
there's
least now there's a 5.
5 would
See
be
if
a
Terminator
straight.
decides to bet. Well, we're going to get more shots at Digital Dan, and I love that because the shirt is really interesting.
Yeah.
On check, Digital Dan certainly folded the best hand.
And it looks like Joseph lost. No, he won.
Yep. Terminator
right.
had maybe a 6 or something.
Yeah, he probably had 6-8, I guess.
The referee said on the flop.
And we can have a lot of things there.
Yeah. Ace 6 maybe.
Digital Dan could have just put in that $40 and it would have just checked through all the way, and Could have had the money.
That was a pretty tight fold.
Maybe we're saying like that shirt's all expensive. That's why it's only $40. Maybe he can't just throw those $40 around because the shirt is so
Yeah,
expensive.
he spent all his money on the shirt
and the glasses.
and the glasses.
Maybe don't get glasses with our sponsor Adore on them if you can't afford to call $40. Digital Dan.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Come on.
That guy's always doing stuff like that.
He's just so bad with money.
Buying expensive shirts.
That's like that shirt. As that you can buy that 42 shirt at Cosmopolitan in Vegas. It's like $382.
Jack's alert from Marty this time,
Marty plays him a little differently.
making it 60, and Marty's going to get action a lot of the time here.
Of course he is.
Well, especially when Blake just calls the ace king against Marty.
I think it's a pretty clear 3-bet get it in spot, but he chooses not to, and
I
see
think
how this plays out.
Wonka's folding the queen jack on the button is interesting as well. I mean, against these two players, you'd think queen jack has plenty of equity, although it happens not really to.
And to be on the button.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like I'm surprised by these decisions.
I assume Wonka would have
what
called if it
happens
was suited.
Yeah, for sure. Although I would have guessed he would have called either way. Good spot for Marty here.
I don't know if he's going to get paid at all, though. That's the one problem.
One bet might get paid.
He might get
the
one
first bet. And he checks.
That's interesting.
And Blake immediately fires.
Wow, what do you think about Blake betting there?
Blake probably thinks he has the best hand.
He's probably just protecting. Oh,
Yeah.
is Marty going to go for the check raise? It looks like he is.
Too much. Too much. Way too much.
Now it's actually kind of interesting because if Blake had a 10 here, it is a 10 high flop that we can't see right now.
Yeah, there's 2 hearts on it, right? No, two hearts on the flop.
So I usually don't like this type of play, but against Blake, I think it might be okay because I don't think Blake's going to fold a 10.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And
Especially against Marty and
I
Marty's
don't
stack.
think Blake has too many overpairs in his range, so he's just worried about sets mostly if you're Marty.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be okay.
I like it. Marty had a plan for that hand.
Yeah.
On the flop. Checks it, lets Blake take a shot.
See, yeah. So I think
it's a reasonable bet by Blake, though, when you get
I think it's reasonable. I just slightly lean towards checking there, and
it's not just protection. You can get value against Marty with
yeah.
ace,
I
with
suppose
ace
you.
king.
I suppose you can, but you can also get value from Marty by letting him bluff later.
Yeah, but are you really going to call
Yeah,
twice if he fires twice?
I probably am. It's Marty.
I think I like betting better. I think it's probably more plus EV. Anyway, moving on. Marty with the suited connector. Now he's got 1,000 in front of him, of course, because he did do that rebuy.
Right, a hand that Wonka would have opened on the button, but not under the gun or +1 like Marty.
Of course. He'd probably open the hijack with it, or sorry, the cutoff with it as well.
And Joseph is going to get involved. He knows Marty's range.
Yeah, this is a reasonable
He
call.
knows he's ahead. Obviously.
It's a totally reasonable call.
He has
for
less
Joseph.
equity. That must be based on some folds that happened.
Yeah.
Because that software does take into account cards that were folded. Well, nobody flops anything, so... Well, Joseph flops a deuce, but I think that makes Marty still a favorite to win the hand.
Marty is definitely not a favorite to win the hand. Joseph is 71%.
I mean actual favorite, like in
oh,
practice.
Oh, I see what you're saying. That makes a lot more sense. Marty with 2 back doors and 5 high. Doing the whole routine
Wow, he
there.
checks back to 5 high. That's almost the nut low. You'd expect him to bet that.
There are a lot of good cards for Marty on the turn. That is not one of them. Joseph checks again wisely. Marty checks right back. Joseph now has to start to think he's likely has the best hand.
I mean, if Marty just starts firing the river, Joseph might think
I did actually.
it's like a 9 or something.
Marty
but
could have 2 6s.
That's
2 7s.
That was weird. I think Marty really thinks Joseph is super tight, and
But one bet. You could have bet one time to
Yeah.
see if he has anything. Like, there was never even a probing bet there, you know?
yeah, if you're gonna open 5-4 suited under the gun +1, you probably have to take a shot when you miss heads up.
I mean, Joseph being super tight is a reason to bet once,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, maybe you'll get all the information you need. Like, it's supposed to, like, if it's Hank or Marty himself where you bet and they can call you with no hand.
Right.
And then you're like, well, you don't know if another bet would do it or not. So I think that's an interesting give up by Marty. I'm surprised he never tried.
Me too. Me too. I think.
I mean, you're opening up +1.
His wild style early on lost him a bunch of money right away,
Yeah.
and maybe he's just trying to adjust.
Yeah, that could be the case. It can be hard to stick to a strategy when things aren't going your way. You know,
Yeah,
where you think
for
like
sure.
maybe I need to adjust. Maybe these guys have got me figured out. And often that isn't the case. Often they're just playing their hands. And
It was a bit of an over adjustment to never put a bet in there.
yeah, if you're gonna open 5 high +1 and only get called by the big blind, and that kind of board comes out, I don't see. I think it's a mistake to not take a shot at some point.
Wonka with a nice looking suited connector here.
Just because it's you.
Action Aaron says, just because it's you.
Courage call.
I was unaware of a rivalry, but I would love one to develop.
They seem like they're both way too nice guys for there to be any kind of rivalry.
You don't think nice guys can have rivalries?
Well, it's friendly rivalries aren't interesting rivalries. I want to see some pain.
All right.
Some
Well,
anger.
Wonka obviously missed the crap out of this flop, but it's a flop he has to continue on, essentially.
Yeah, this is. I think I would expect. Oh,
Wow,
and he checks.
What's going on?
Really surprising. He was looking very closely at action Aaron when he checked.
Well, it's going to be harder to get a bet through now if Aaron has any piece of the board.
Aaron's going to do the old. I'm looking to see if I have a diamond. And he
He's gonna
checks
check.
again. I mean, doesn't Wonka just have to bet?
Is Wonka just in full shutdown here? What's going on with these guys?
I don't see
All
how
right,
Wonka
look,
doesn't
it looks
bet.
like he's going to bet now.
It's like, all right, fine. I'm going to pretend I have
Jacks.
Jack 10, Jacks, Queens, something like that, with the Queen of Diamonds. And Action Aaron's trying to show us his cards.
I guess he's
failing.
been told his cards are not showing up, and he's trying to get them to show up. And I
Either
guess
that, or this is like a magic trick to like actually turn them into diamonds or something.
he's got some Terminator blood in him, I guess, causing the RFID reader to
Terminate
go on the
their
fritz.
blood.
And he's gonna. Oh, I thought he was gonna fold.
That
but,
is fascinating. After all that to call.
all right. Well,
think
he's got 2 8s. Now we see it.
Oh, I think you're just gonna have to fire all rivers here, if you're Wonka.
I think you can rep a lot of things firing the river. I think Wonka would if checked to bet any pair between the 10s and the aces. He might even bet a good
Yeah.
10.
Action
King
Aaron,
10.
Action Aaron almost never has a flush. Almost never has trip aces. He often has a big diamond.
This is a good bluff. This is a good idea from Wonka here.
How much should he bet?
Looks like 70, something like that.
I love that he bet it. I don't know if it's gonna work, and I guess
Oh,
it did.
It
Yep.
did work. Aaron already folded.
See, this is a problem for Aaron. If he's going to call the turn and fold to a relatively small bet on the river, I don't know if we should be calling the turn. When a card bricks out, too, that's just the 5 of clubs.
Yeah.
I guess maybe he's just hoping Wonka's going to give up a lot. But
Yep.
Wonka's probably going to bet his bluffs and check back a lot of his middle hands that are going to beat you. So
That's a good point.
a bet is actually good news for you, I think, there, if you've got 2 8s. When he checks, you almost always lose.
Wonka's sizing was pretty good on the river there. It looked like he was trying to allow himself to be called by a 10 sometimes.
I agree. 70 into what? About 130. That was believable sizing. I don't know if the sizing mattered, but I like the sizing all the same.
I did. Exactly.
Terminator's going to raise it up here. Looks like he made it 40. Yep. Hank has a real hand. What does Hank do with a real hand? Have we seen Hank with a real hand?
I don't know that we have. We've seen a lot of medium pocket pairs for him.
Looks like he's 3-bet.
does
Very
3-bet it.
small. It's a very small 3-bet.
We've seen him 3-betting ace-7 suited and stuff like that. So
That's
ace-queen
true.
suited on the cutoff anyway. It makes a lot of sense.
That's
to
like
3-bet.
a 2011 tournament 3-bet size.
Also, Terminator's VPIP, as we saw, was #1 at this table. That's a prime candidate to 3-bet.
Well, bad flop for Hank. Can't love it.
He's got 2 backdoors and overs. It's a reasonable check back spot. You could bet once, though, because of your backdoors and protection, and sometimes even get value out of Terminator, but he checks.
And the turn makes things even worse. Brings
Yeah.
a 3rd club there.
Terminator not taking a shot, though.
That's not the flop, even though
Yeah, it was a jack
it
high
was a
board,
jack.
right? There it is.
Well, it's in the wrong order, but that's the actual cards on the board.
We're firing somebody. I'll just let you guys know. Someone's definitely getting canned.
Is it me?
Nope, you're fine. It's,
Okay.
it's the camera people.
All right, cool.
The camera people have no chance. Sorry, guys. Terminator can't take it anymore.
He's gonna bet, and I imagine this is just gonna work, right? Oh no, it was a call. I see. Hank could bet.
Oh, okay. So the question is Hank going to fire one more time? This
It's
is a great
another
card.
club.
This is a great card to fire on.
It's either great or terrible.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
either going to be a snap call or snap fold for Terminator.
Well,
but,
it might be a snap raise,
well, then that counts as a snap call from our point of view, right?
unless we decide to call the raise.
We're never going to do that, I hope. Terminator's going to make it easy on us, though, and bet.
Hank can't call here, right?
Well, I mean, he called on the turn. What could he possibly have? We could raise or we can fold. We certainly couldn't call.
it would be
Raising is not the worst idea.
It's-
Raising could work.
But we have basically no information about Terminator's hand. It's
And we have
kind
no
of
blockers.
It would just be kind of a random spewy play.
It's just because he bet 175. He rarely has the ace of clubs here, I think.
You feel like he has like King 8 with the King of clubs or something like
I think
that.
he has that. He might even have 2 pair or something. He does things like that, you know.
Yeah, that's possible.
Informational bets where it's just. I feel like I see Terminator sometimes make sort of snap folds with pretty good hands when he gets sort of given the bad news. So, as such, I don't know. I feel like that was at least a place to consider raising. I'm not saying you shouldn't. You definitely shouldn't always raise there, but that's a candidate.
I don't like it as a spot the way the hand played out. I just feel like you can find better spots.
Terminator can have the king of clubs in his hand, and then just decide not to fold. Also,
Or the ace of clubs, or
Well,
another
yeah.
club that he decides not to fold.
That's true too.
He's not going to play this one, is he? Nope. Terminator does not have as wide of a range as Marty or Hank, it seems.
Digital Dan going to fold the king 9 once again. This time there was no action and no
Oh,
money. on the
Joseph
pot.
is getting involved. Even on Marty's big blind, he's raising it up with 5-4 off. This is a new Joseph.
It's a questionable decision.
Oh, it's actually Marty's small blind, excuse me.
Oh,
but
it's
Marty's
not
the
near as
guy with
questionable.
kings, though. So that's pretty good.
It's a good time to 3-bet Marty. You who 3-bet lots of things.
And this is going to be the last hand of this episode.
Yeah.
Don't forget to check back next week for the next episode of this Poker Time session.
BMW Blake puts the little BMW back on his cards and is now checking out Marty's stack. So
He's thinking about a cold 4-bet as a bluff here.
he could also be thinking about calling.
I hope not.
He's going to fold.
Joseph can't continue now. He's like, oh,
Nope.
this is why I play tight.
I mean, you got to assume this is over, right? I mean, Action Aaron has very few hands in his calling range here that he would ever be able to.
I mean,
I
he
guess
could
he
have
could decide to call.
He could have like Queen Jack suited or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, you're right. You're right. He could
Ace
call.
10 suited, you know.
And he's on the button. It's not so bad.
It is Marty. You can do a lot of calling and raising against Marty. Oh, Aaron
He
just moved in. He
Well,
just
Marty's
took the
not going
button.
to fold that.
No, Marty will be calling. We don't know what Aaron has yet, but it's a huge move. Well, I guess Marty doesn't have that many chips.
No, it's not.
It's
not
a
as
one.
big,
It's
but
essentially a 1K move in.
it's a reasonable move in with a lot of hands here.
All right, we know Marty has kings.
I mean, Marty often doesn't have anything, so it's completely reasonable.
Oh, it's tens.
Oh, it's a real hand.
Yeah, 10s for Aaron. It's a reasonable way to play 10s against Marty. He just kind of ran into it, and once again, Action Aaron is unlucky.
But at least he was behind the whole way.
Yeah,
I
at
mean,
least
we'll see if he wins this pot.
he could
but
win.
It's not impossible.
Backdoors? Nope, no backdoor straight draw
Well,
came in.
either way, as Grant said, this is the last hand, and we'll see you next week for another episode of Poker Time.
Oh, and he can't do it.
Nope.
Another ding on Action Aaron.
Another brick in the wall.
Chop, chop.